FTSR for another edition of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach1 Performance Cup Series. Of course, presented on Nerd TV anywhere you find us, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We're live everywhere. This time we're coming from the simulated Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's 1.54 mile track converted into a Super Speedway-esque style race where you got the Super Speedway restrictor plates, tall spoilers. It's still only a mile and a half, so it's a unique track. And if you were live on Wednesday, it presented some awesome racing in the Truck Series. Tonight, the Cup guys are going to be doing it live for you guys tonight. Of course, my name is Jay Stan, and to my right this time on Mondays is Ballistic. What's going on, dude?
Hey, looking forward to some good racing here at the new revitalized. Some people had their doubts about it, but the racing that this track puts on is some amazing racing. Very Super Speedway-esque without the super long speedways, so it puts in a little new of a challenge with the corners being a lot tighter than the Super Speedways, which also throws in tire wear that the drivers have to deal with pack racing, which is kind of unique. So if last Wednesday's race was any consolation on what to expect from these guys for the Mach1 Performance Cup Series, should be a damn good show.
Yeah, and this new update that iRacing brought out this past week to bring this track live to everyone, I've noticed, I don't know if it's like been known, but I've kind of noticed the weather's been kind of fluctuating as far as air temp versus track temp. Check this out, guys. 78 degrees temperature-wise in the air, no problem, right? But that converts somehow to 132 degrees asphalt temperature on this track. And this track's already presented some handling issues, being loose in the trucks. You noticed like lap 20, 25, you saw lengths in the 21 on Wednesday, getting loose, and that track was only about 109 degrees. We're sitting at 132 degrees, Dustin, on this racing surface, and I've heard some drivers in the garage say they're loose early. The key to victory is going to be that handling, not so much the speed. So, got their hands full there.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to hear, especially with this Super Speedway package that this track has now, because what that means is these drivers are going to be super close to each other. We're talking door to door, from the drop of the green flag till the drop of the checkered flag. And if this track temperature is as hot as what it is right now, and they are already talking looseness, that is going to pose for some crazy racing when it comes to this. And these drivers very well may have their hands full, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was actually watching Chad Lang in practice about 5 minutes ago, and he was doing a mock qualifying run. And I don't know if he was getting a feel for his car, but that car by itself actually looked like it was a little loose. So it shows me that they're on the edge trying to get things figured out. Brody Hanna right now, you can watch him live. He is left and right on the wheel, coming at a turn 4 this time. Let's see what he looks like going around the track. But I don't know, Dustin. It's going to be a great race. I love this track. I love the reconfiguration. I love everything about it. But you got to be handling correctly. So you're seeing Brody right there sawing on the wheel a little bit. And it looks like he's just trying to feel the grip out. So maybe he's just trying to figure out what kind of looseness is in that car.
Yeah, I mean, what better time to do it? I mean, really, it's practice right now. I mean, if you know that handling is already going to be a factor, I mean, why not feel it out right now? I mean, if you completely demolish a car right now, this is where you want to do it, but at least you're going to know where you're going to be at come race time. Like I said, I mean, the racing in the Sim Racing Points Truck Series last Wednesday at this track was phenomenal. These drivers put on a hell of a show. So I've heard a lot of drivers talking about some of the drivers that have speed. I've heard Wayne Grossi's name dropped out there. I believe Brody Hanna stated that he was even having a hard time closing up on him. So, some of the drivers to look out for, plus, a lot of your regulars that you've talked about. Richie Coy is always one that we expect to see out there. Chuck Sweeting, because wherever Richie's at, we can expect Chuck to be there, because those two, man, they sit here and always post some great racing. So, again, taking a look at some of those, but you can't count out Moreau Motorsports. I mean, these drivers have been hot the last few weeks, and speaking of hot, I mean, Nicholas Moreau has taken all pole position starts, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can do it again.
And I love that you know that Chuck Sweeting and Richie Coy find each other, but if you notice, there's not a 19 in tonight's grid. Richie Coy is absent this evening for whatever reason. So hopefully everything's okay on that end. But the guy who's running for the championship, he's in the points lead. He is not here tonight, so this is definitely going to shake some things up. But it is qualifying. We'll mention that more later on as the race continues. But we got to get over qualifying, which means we got to start thanking some sponsors that allow us to do this for you guys every Monday and Wednesday, of course. FTSR.net, the league themselves, the best place to do it. If you're looking for a really qualified league that knows what they're doing. They've been doing it for so long, really since 2006 on the NR 2003 platform. So same admins all the way through. They definitely know how to run a league, and you see it every week. They're bad fast, and they do it cleanly. So FTSR.net, get registered today. Mach1 Performance Cup Series sponsor for this evening. Fabrication Shop. That was created by the late Johnny Coy Jr. They produce championships from multiple racing platforms, dirt, pavement, oval. They've got it covered. So if you're in the area of Mach1 Performance and need some fabrication work, this is the shop to check out. Head over to facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, your Wednesday Series Truck Series sponsor. All-in-one league points management system. Essentially what that means is you just upload the export from your race, and then they produce stats like no other. Every single detail on that race live instantly on your website as a full page layout, as like a widget, whatever you need there. And it's a great price point to make your league look professional. So head over to simracingpoints.com and get your league registered today. Thank you to Martin Sports for the continued partnership through Nerditudes. And then the presenting Lucky Dog sponsor as well, which we might see some cautions tonight with these loose drivers. There might be a few of those hashtags thrown out there. They produce anything from your head down to your upper waist area, shirts, hoodies, hats, T-shirts. They have you covered. And if you do any customized orders, they have the fastest turnaround in the business. MartinSports906.com is the way to go. And Super Nerd at checkout will get you 25% off. Thank you to iRacing iFlag, the flag partner for the Nerditudes. This little 64 light emitting diode LED system, all that means there, it's a really bright light, 3D printed unit, kind of one of a kind, cool looking device. Sits on your desk and gives you up to 30 different iRacing commands and notifications, like all the flags that get flown. Most of the spotter commands, like high, low, in between, wherever it is. This little system's got you covered. And you're going to find it at iRacingIFlag.com. Once again, that Super Nerd checkout code is going to get you 15% off. Thank you to the Butt Kicker, the audio enhancement partner for the Nerditudes. The Gamer 2 unit is the standard in sim racing immersion. It gives you that haptic feedback in your seat that presents all the bumps and feels from the actual track directly into your sim rig. Kind of completes it all in one there. Again, other products on the market just like it. So head over to thebuttkicker.com to check those out. Anything you purchase from there, Nerd TV this time is going to get you 20% off. Thank you to Moonlight Speed at moonlightspeed.com. If you're looking for a win column, or to gain your win column with a bunch of wins, anywhere from the Advanced Legends all the way to the next gen cars, this is the place to go. Great prices for professional setups that are updated weekly and sometimes 2 to 3 times a week to make sure you get those much needed wins. So moonlightspeed.com. And then houseofspeed.us has you covered on the dirt side. Anything professional dirt setup related. If you're looking for some fast cars on any oval style racing on dirt, this is the house to go to, houseofspeed.us. And then Nerd Focus, the official energy partner. The nerds turn to the nerds for the Nerd Focus drink there. You got 2 flavors. The green is sugar, blue is sugar-free. Either one, it's going to keep you focused and alert for a few hours, up to, whatever you're doing, really. Potentially all day. It's a great flavor, and it doesn't have any crash. So for hours on end, it's going to keep you covered. That's nerdfocus.com. Super Nerd, one last time for 10% off. All right, we got, go ahead.
I said, now that our thanks are done and out of the way, Jeremy, no surprise right now, just popped in at 0.03 of a second faster than Wayne Grossi, who had been holding the pole. Nicholas Moreau just took that top spot. As far as quick time, that is what? If it sticks, that would be number 6.
That is every race of the season, sir.
And it looks like it did stick indeed. So what a performance. But we are going to have to see what 163 laps are going to wind up looking like here, Jeremy, and where these drivers are going to end up at this 1.5 mile now super speedway-esque track here at Atlanta.
Yeah, if you watch the race on Sunday in the real world situation for the Cup Series, Dale Jr. does not qualify this track as a super speedway, but some others do. Of course, you only think about the two big boys, Talladega and Daytona, but this needs to be right up there. It has all the qualifications other than it's a little bit shorter, but that's fine. They drive the same essentially, minus a little different handling. It's a little hybrid. It's kind of cool. But grid order is set, and yeah, 6 for 6. Nicholas Moreau taking the top spot. In these super speedways, if you're getting it done in the super speedway, you know you're just fast all over. So Nicholas Moreau takes your top spot. Wayne Grassi, who Brody Hanna dropped the name earlier, said he was bad fast, and he's going to qualify P2. Matthew Vachon sitting in third place. Sherwood Williford in fourth. Chuck Sweeting in fifth. Lane Allen starting in sixth. Row number 4, Stephen Lou Allen in seventh. Brody Hanna in eighth to his outside. Starting ninth, Steve Loomis. And to round out your top 10, Tony Solari.
Yeah, Tony Solari, who has actually been selected as our in-rig driver for the night, starting in 10th. 11th is going to be Brian Bliss gridding. To his outside will be James Wallace in that 67, starting 12th. 13th will go to James Wallace's teammate Ryan Hedrick. Josh Johnson will start 14th. To his outside will be, or inside the next row, my bad, will be that of Brian Dublé, his dancing partner to the outside, Josh Mayu in that 0-2. Chris Beck will start 17th. His dancing partner to the outside, Chad Lang, in that very sexy-looking STP number 4, I have to say. And rounding out the field in that P19 is Brian Elder.
We'll give Brandon some credit. I don't know if his name's Brian, but he did not actually take the grid. So 18 cars will roll off pit road to start this 163 lapper at this 1.5 mile super speedway. And Dustin, no surprise to find the 15 out front, but this is super speedway. A lot of appraisal from that 7 car right to his outside. I think tonight's going to be an awesome race.
I agree. And I think the driver that's going to find themselves in position to grab the W, whether it's a first-time winner this season or whether it is somebody brand new this season or repeater, either way you want to look at it, is going to be the person that can keep their car clean, keep their car underneath them, talking about handling issues, and making sure that they get themselves in position there when the laps count towards the tail end. Because again, you have to set this up like a super speedway, which means you have to get your car in that ever so important track position to be able to strike at the end.
Yep, and without Richie Coy here, people are trying to capitalize on points. This is going to be a very, very important race for these guys to capitalize on points that are not being here. So wait for the green flag to fly, and it flies right now. Nicholas Moreau, 6 for 6 on the pole, gets an amazing start here, about a car length out. But as we know, it's super speedway racing. You're not going to be able to hold that for long. There's a teammate right behind him, that 26, Matthew Vachon, follows in, and Chuck Sweeting already coming in from 5th to 3rd. He's going to follow through as it goes early single file for the first 4 cars.
Yeah, early single file. Again, that low line, though, I'm surprised at the jump that low line was able to get. I mean, the first 2 to 3 cars jumped out to an early lead there and stretched it out. But that high side right now still trying to get together. Now, this track, you can run 2 wide. You'll see a lot of 2 wide. You can even run 3 wide. But drivers got to be careful. But it still seems like that outside lane is still trying to get itself figured out, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. I think when the handling starts to fall off on the bottom here, the outside will prevail eventually. But I don't know if you noticed, Dustin, but 6 cars are on that Moreau Motorsports, and only 2 have made the race tonight. And those guys are sitting P1 and P2. They got these super speedways figured out. They're running pretty strong right now. But Lou Allen there in that 24, he's only he's only 4 car lengths away, and he's starting to get a little bit of line build up behind him. Let's see if this high side can make some runs.
Yeah, Stephen Lou Allen trying to get that high side working, trying to get it organized a little bit here, and that's what it's going to take. But Jeremy, if this race is anything like the trucks, we've seen that high line can have a good run, even with minimal on Wednesday, minimal trucks up there because they could utilize the side draft. So, I mean, it doesn't take much. Really close slip up there by the 17 of Steve Loomis there. Got real close to the 24, Stephen Lou Allen.
Yes, that was a really close call there. This new configuration, especially in that quad oval area, presenting some challenges. You don't want to put yourself 3 wide, especially in later in the run where the cars are slipping and sliding a little bit more. 18 right behind him gets a little loose into turn number 3, backs it off about a car length or so off that 17. Lou on in that 24 has found himself in front of Chuck Kears. He's got 2 cars left on the high side.
Yeah, again, starting to build some momentum now on that high side. They are 5 deep on that high side to the 6 deep on the inside. I mean, if you're looking at to 9 deep, with a little bit of space in between the 18 of Brian Bliss and Dublé, but Dublé hops to the high side. But again, those 5 on that high side are moving forward, inching closer and closer to that lead right now. And as it sits right now, Stephen Lou Allen has the nose ahead on Nicholas Moreau. It's a dead heat down, but count this one to Stephen Lou Allen leading that lap.
Somebody give themselves a high five. That 24 leading the way does clear the 15 for the first lead change this evening, and Sherwood Williford in that bright orange and black number 33 making a solid run too. As his outside starting to kick in, that 33 though, Williford to the inside of the 24 trying to clear him with a little bit of side draft, does not make the pass, and I think the 24 is going to have a great run on the exit of turn number 4, which he does. 24 is going to lead this lap as well.
Yeah, 24 still getting those solid runs on that high side. And again, this is what we seen in the truck race last Wednesday, is that high line can get built up. They can make a move, and you can make passes on that high side. You just have to get the right chess pieces in place to make it happen. Right now, it is a dead heat drag race all the way down the backstretch into the corner. They are 2 by 2, about 5 to 6 rows deep.
Yeah, it's a pretty good race right now. I didn't expect the high side to kick in this early, but it looks like it will. And Sherwood Williford does lead that lap this time by 0.000. So our stopwatches cannot see how deep into the zeros that is. So basically a virtual tie there. But he shoots out like a cannon off the turn number 2 and gets a 2 car length advantage. But the 15 quickly sucks him in. 24 making a run on the end on the outside with the side draft there. Yeah,
that side draft there, you've seen that 24 get close to the 15, and that's what keeps that high line's momentum moving there, is still utilizing that side draft. So again, excellent racing going on right now. Want to give a shout out to Tony Solari as well. He gave us a little inside information on Richie Coy's absence for tonight. He is on a family camping trip for the holiday in Kentucky. So Fury Motorsports was nice enough to give him the whole week off. That's awfully kind of them, and probably don't mind it too much with the provisional, but trying to catch up a little bit of points on their teammate there probably doesn't hurt either.
No, yeah. I mean, take the time. Yeah, I mean, he can rebound from that. He's 15 points out or so, or in the lead. So him missing the race won't be too detrimental. But take the time off, man. This is only a virtual video game. At the end of the day, so we won't flag him for that. But going up front here, the 14 Lane Allen making a strong move here into second place. He was going to be behind the 24 here for just a moment, but then he shot back up to the top side, maybe thinking that the top side is the way to go. It's going to allow that 33 to get an excellent run there off the 4, shoots right behind the number 24 here. And then Ryan Hedrick in that 47, we haven't mentioned him too much this season. He's making a strong run on the top as well.
Yeah, that top side's still trying to move. We're on board right now with the 14 of Lane Allen. You see he's battling side by side with the 15. Now you're seeing that top side start to get that run. This is where they excel, is going through the corners and that run off. They have to give it a little bit going in, but they can get those excellent runs off. You see them closing up, inching forward right now on the outside of Sherwood Williford, inching ever so close to the 24 of Stephen Lou Allen, who is leading this race. So, Jeremy, they keep moving forward like this. In the next lap to 2 laps, you could see a new leader in the form, and it looks like it might be right now. Look at the run off of turn 2 that high line gets now with all that momentum.
Yeah, that 33 Sherwood Williford dropped down below the apron, wanted to let everyone by. He's going to drop back to the second pack here to pick somebody up, and that just took all the steam off the 24 and allowed that 14 Lane Allen to shoot to the lead. That's going to be your third lead change here amongst 4 drivers.
Yeah, and again, that's that high side. I was like you, Jeremy. I'm surprised that the high side really started coming in as early as what it did. But we did see or did hear about a lot of the drivers talking about handling issues with these cars, and the more that they try to force these cars on the low line, if it's anything like the trucks, that's when the handling issues were amplified and were made worse. It wasn't until those drivers moved up to the high side that it kind of evened those cars out a little bit. So this could be a way for them to try to balance out that looseness thanks to this hot and slippery track right now.
Yeah, the temperatures on the track are still at 129 degrees. It has dropped 3 degrees, but it's still blistering hot. You could cook your breakfast on this thing. And Lane Allen moving around, even though a single file, he went to the bottom in 1 and 2. Now he's searching up right against the wall in 3 and 4. So if that leader's lane searching, there's there's some grip to be found somewhere.
Absolutely. And how about this 47? We haven't talked about Ryan Hedrick in a number of races, but he is up here. This type of speedway racing plays right into his repertoire that, he excels at. And right behind him, how about that 37 of Brian Dublé? Again, solid qualifying run. He's putting himself in position. Dublé also runs very well at this style track. So seeing those drivers up there this early in this little pack of 4 right now, trying to space it out, you see the 37 and the 24 getting a little racy side by side. 24 Stephen Llewellyn's going to try to push that 37 to Dublé out of that 3rd position.
Yeah, Stephen Llewellyn's got a crazy fast car right now, and he's showing it here. Clears the 37, no problem, as he does not have any draft partners right now, and he drops back several positions, back to 5th currently. Looks like Wayne Grossi's probably going to eat him up here on the exit of turn number 4 as well. As a couple cars at the bottom, 47, Ryan Hedrick gets a little loose there on the bottom of 4. He has to check up. That's going to allow the 24 Llewellyn to zoom up right to the back bumper of that 14, and Chuck Sweeting found himself in 3rd place now.
Yeah, and we're right about at that lap counter, Jeremy. You and I were talking pre-race that right around near that 20 lap marker is where you're really going to start seeing the handling. Chuck Sweeting getting way high, almost scraping the wall there.
Man.
If he didn't scrape that wall, man, he was darn close. Probably could have reached out and just scrubbed it with his hand. But this is right around where we were expecting to see some of these, the looseness of these cars with this track configuration really start to come through. And if you look, just prior to that, there was a lot of drivers that were running on that high line, not so many on that low.
Man, at 75 last lap, I went back. He did show some sparks off that wall. Did make slight contact, just brushing the paint off. But then, I don't know if you noticed, Dustin, but turn 2, he got loose on exit. Almost door checked to 15 in Moreau. Thankfully, that did not happen, so they keep going. But that 75 on lap 19 is showing some signs of being loose. And we talked to Brody pre-race, at least I did a little bit, and he said it's going to be all about that handling. And he said lap 20 is when you're going to start seeing it. And we're seeing it just before the lap 20 mark. 75, not looking too comfortable at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a couple cars that are looking that way as well. We've seen the 47 of Ryan Hedrick also get loose going through the corners there. He was able to keep it going, but unfortunately has lost a lot of positions on that, getting stuck on that low side. You see the groove has now moved to that high side, but you see that inside lane's trying to move forward, led by that black and orange number 33, Sherwood Williford, trying to lead that inside lane now, inching ever so close to the 26 and Matthew Vachon on the inside. So this is where drivers are going to start getting racy. But Jeremy, this is where a lot of these drivers haven't brought these cars to this track yet, so they're still feeling out these cars. And with this hot track right now, I could see this getting very squirrely very fast.
Yeah, the degrees of making are very similar to 2 big boys, Talladega and Daytona. But at the same time, they're not making these corners, as tight as this track is. So you can't bring a Daytona setup here. It's just not going to work. The suspension's not going to know what to do with the
14 in the wall.
Not too bad, able to hold his spot. Maybe going to lose one to Brody Hanna, which Brody Hanna was running in the second pack. All of a sudden, he's zoomed up here now, running in 5th place.
Yeah, Brody Hanna moving up with help from his Fury Motorsport teammate, Tony Solari, our in-rig driver right now. Both of those drivers slowly making their way forward. But again, it was talked about that the winner of this race and how to get through this race, especially this one in particular with this car and track configuration and weather, is, it looks like we have another one. Was that Brian Bliss
18.
in the wall back there? Yeah, scraping it. So again, a lot of these cars really struggling. But it was discussed that speed wasn't going to be the one that wins this race. It was going to be handling. You talked about Brody Hanna stated that pre-race just from all the practice that they had been running, and so far that looks like it may be very well spot on, Jeremy. But back up front, you see that race is heating up right now. Stephen Lou Allen leading the way. That number 7 Wayne Grossi has moved to that high side. You see now Sherwood Williford in that 33. A lot of drivers on that high side. This right here is the battle for the lead, and it looks like with no help on that inside line, Wayne Grossi will lead that lap.
5th lead change amongst 5 different drivers now. That number 7 looking pretty sporty, only 24 laps in. And I don't know if you've noticed, Dustin, there's been a lot of changes. We've seen the 7 go from the back to the front. We've seen the 33, which he was in the 2nd spot there on the inside line about 15 to 10 laps ago. He dropped back all the way. Oh, Sherwood, or Stephen Lou Allen into the wall with a little bit of a scrape as well. He slides up in there. Dustin, these guys just cannot stick turn 3 and 4. Once they hit that 2nd to 3rd groove, their car just slides right up into the wall. So they're going to have to learn how to check up here at a Super Speedway.
Yeah, which is, it's going to be difficult, Jeremy, because when they're coming here, they have that Super Speedway mentality. But this is exactly why Dale Jr. doesn't see this as a Super Speedway, even though it has a lot of similarities to it. But, yeah, it looks like turns 3 and 4 right now as you see Stephen Lou Allen getting very close to that outside wall again. Seems to be a choke point for these cars trying to keep them down. They are not wanting to stay down as we're 26 laps into this event right now, Jeremy. And I can tell you right now, the handling of these cars is not looking that appetizing and appeasing right now.
I love when companies like to do something outside the box and to have a hybrid like this. There's nothing like this in the world right now. This is the only 1.5 mile track with a 28-degree banking around the corners. So it's a mixture of everything. And so people's mindsets, Dustin, I think it's a mindset thing. I've talked to our Poshibia Nick, that broadcasts on Wednesdays, and he had to go into this race watching it this weekend as a mindset of it being a super speedway and not a speedway. And then when he came out of it, he's like, you know what, maybe I should think of it as a speedway, not a super speedway. And it's in between there. When these guys have to lift in the corner for a restrictor plate race, like, it's a mindset change. You can't just go full throttle. So I think if these guys were to tone it down a little bit and not go full throttle every single time they enter the corner, we might see a different race. But going for the race, Brody Hanna takes the lead here for the 6 different lead chains among 6 drivers. At 23, he was kind of sketchy about this race coming in. He's your new race leader.
Yeah, getting help from that number 7 Wayne Grossi, who he gave a lot of praise as being bad fast during practice. And Wayne is keeping himself in position. And Jeremy, we talked about it. That's exactly what it is going to take. I mean, we're only working lap 28 of 163 right now. There's a lot of race left here. 1 is surviving the race, 2 is having your car in position. And right now, Wayne Grossi is definitely putting himself in a good position right now. He doesn't have to lead every lap. He just has to be there at the end to lead that last lap.
And with these handling issues, you really want to take care of your stuff early on so you can make it to the end. It only takes 1 slip up, and these cars are pretty grouped up. It's not like the normal Atlanta where they space each other out. So, 37 does hit the apron, slides up, almost touches Lou Allen, able to avoid him. They're still side by side going strong, but right now Wayne Grossi by himself trying to take over the 23, just cannot do it. Brody Hanna's going to lead lap number 29.
Yeah, the 7 of Wayne Grossi had that good run, looked to the outside, went to go for the pass, looked like, loose is the 7 of Grossi. Able to save it, though. Excellent wheelmanship on that one there, because that thing was wicked loose. He has to back it down, though, to regain and remerge on the track. But what a save by the 7 of Wayne Grossi. But prior to that excellent save, the 15 was showing like he was going to go with Wayne up on that high side and elected to back out of that decision last second, pull back down, left Wayne out. And unfortunately, I put Wayne there on that high side a little bit coming off of turn 2, and the car just did not sit right on that one.
Yeah, and if Wayne had a set of we're gonna do our Martin Sports plug here. If he had a set of those gloves that Martin Sports produces, he would have had all the grip in the world. So if you're looking for extra grip on your steering wheel and in your car, head over to martinsports906.com. Pick up yourself instead of the gloves that have deemed the sim glove of all of sim racing. So definitely much needed in that super nerd code for 25% off. But we got new lead change here. 15, Nicholas Moreau taking back his throne that he qualified for 31 laps ago. It's going to be your 8th lead change amongst 6 drivers. Oh, and the 24 heavy into the wall next to the turn number 4. Nobody taken with him, but that's a heavy amount of damage and speed loss right there.
Yeah, and that's something that you do not want. I mean, yes, it's we've been talking about Speedway, Super Speedway. This, you have to look at this as a speedway, but just like every other speedway, you don't want to damage these cars. I mean, with that new damage model that they just rolled out not too long ago, and with as aero dependent as this track is, that is not something that you want to have happen. You don't want any crinkles. You want that front nose clean. So taking wall impact damage like that could potentially be very detrimental to a driver on the long run right now.
Yeah, and the new damage model is basically as delicate as the actual next-gen cars, so you really want to take care of your stuff in these next-gens. But they've realized that handling has become an issue. They're kind of single-filed out, Dustin, right now. The back to Murrow Motorsports being 1 and 2, just like how they were on lap 1, coming up to lap number 35 here. Except for that, Brody Hanna still wants to spoil the fun here. He was one of those ones, like I said earlier, he kind of questioned about this race, how it was going to go, and I think his setup's a little bit better than what he expected.
Yeah, I think he kind of played a little bit more, or maybe he didn't think it was going to be as competitive, but definitely right now putting the pressure on as you see Brody Hanna looking to the inside of the 26 of Matthew Vachon, and he's got help behind him, and that help comes in the form of the 14 of Lane Allen, and Brian Dublé is also looking to help. Dublé kind of looking like he's trying to figure out what lane to go with, high or low, and that's what allowed Lane Allen to get by him previously to put Allen right behind Brody Hanna. But right now you got a drag race coming off of turn 2 down that backstretch, which is much shorter than the super stretch at Talladega. And again, as we had talked about, very, very tight corners, and these drivers are finding that they have to lift and play with that throttle a little bit. Otherwise, these cars are going to get away from them.
And they sure do. Quick note here, Chuck Sweeting has exited the event, that number 75, who currently sits only 5 points outside the race, or the championship lead. I said 15, but it was really 5 earlier on. But he's only 5 points out, and lap number 34, he got loose, self-spun all by himself into the inside wall, broke something in the car, unable to compete the rest of the way. So the 75 Chuck Sweeting has parked it for the night. That's going to be a shame, because that's going to, he was trying to become that points leader by taking advantage of Richie not being here, but will not make that happen tonight. But Brody Hanna going back up to the front. He's our race leader.
Yeah, and you've seen there for a split second, we're actually going to back it up. I typically don't like doing this, but as it did not register as a caution, we're going to go back and kind of take a look and see exactly what happened to the 75 as he is coming through right off of that turn 2. Hard impact lick. Man, that debris coming off. That was a hard lick, so very understandable why that 75 was gonna have to pull that behind the wall for repairs on that one there. You can see that left front tire bouncing around, definitely detached on it, so not a good sign. See the sparks flying, so unfortunate break for the 75 of Chuck Sweeting, but it looks like that treacherous turn 2 is not playing nice there, especially this late in the run, Jeremy.
And I know that those tires and that axle can be repaired. It's about a 16-minute required repair for iRacing to get your tire and axle kind of put back together, so to speak, and able to compete. And that's just required. And there's multiple minutes of optional repair, which 16 minutes at a track where you're going 30 seconds a lap, you're down quite a bit. Definitely outside of any type of race contention for a victory or top 10 for that matter. So. That car is probably going to be undrivable as well, so that's no wonder why that 75 did have to park. That is, like you said, super unfortunate. You hate to see it. Um, he's just been bad fast all year with some of these other guys, and he was going to be your points leader more than likely, but now this is going to shift some things up, Dustin. Nicholas Moreau, currently sitting in third. He's 13 points outside of the championship lead coming into this event. So if he can squeak himself into a top 5, we might see the 15 take the advantage.
Very well could. And I'm kind of surprised right now, Jeremy, looking at this, the top 7 here on your screen have broken away from the rest of the field. So that goes from your leader, Brody Hanna, all the way back to your 7th place driver. As it sits right now is Brian Dublé, soon to be Steve Loomis, now Steve Loomis. This pack here on your screen has broken away from the rest of the pack. That next pack is only a 3-car pack led by Sherwood Williford right now. But Jeremy, they're a couple seconds back behind the rest of the pack that is here. So, I mean, these 3 drivers right now, this is Sherwood, Stephen Lou Allen, and Ryan Hedrick right now. That's your battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. So to round out your top 10, and Wayne Grossi, who is running so well, got loose. He's further back right now, kind of in a zip code all on his own.
Yeah, a week and a half ago, actually a three-wide position here for the race lead. Brody Hanna, the 15 of Moreau, and the 14 to Lane Allen, rather. Coming off of turn number 4, and that 14 just powered through these guys to make the 9th lead change happen, or the 10th lead change, rather, this evening. What a strong move there by that number 14. But I was going to mention these breakaway packs. That's just a sign of the handling. This is the time of race where you see who has the better handling setup, who doesn't have the better handling setup. So these 6 cars have it figured out right now.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. And I would say out of these 6 cars, I would say it is a safe bet right now to say that Lane Allen and that number 14, Stephen Allen on your timing charts right now, and that 14 has definitely got the handling down in order to push it 3 wide like that and pass cars as strong as Brody Hanna and the 15 of Nicholas Moreau. That's a testament right there, and doing so with all 3 drivers holding their line and getting it done with no contact. So excellent driving there, excellent racing, and very good clean move.
Notice some of these other guys are starting to get pretty loose as well. Josh Mayu coming up into 4th place in that number 02 machine here. He was getting loose off of turn number 4 quite a few laps ago, so I'm surprised he's still able to maintain 4th place. I also want to mention, too, you said those guys like Wayne Grossi are 2 seconds back. A week and a half ago, they had a practice session here throughout the league members. And I remember there was a 3-car pack in front of me, and I was a solo driver, and I was 2.5 seconds away. And I was able to catch the guys that were in a pack of 3 just because they couldn't figure out which line to be in. They kept breaking the draft on each other. They kept getting loose. And with me having less speed, I was able to flat foot thing around the whole track. So the way the cars are handling right now, there might be a slight chance based off of my knowledge. I know it was early on. It was like day 2 this track came out. But there might be a small chance that Seven can potentially get back to that second draft pack.
Yeah, and again, it all depends on what that lead draft pack elects to do. If they are getting that close to scheduled green flag pit stops, if they start getting in a line, that's going to be one thing. But if they start getting racy, and you see right now, we're looking from the tail end right now, the 14 of Stephen Allen, who is leading this race. He's got Brody Hanna all over him, but you also see right back there from time to time, you see that 15 of Nicholas Moreau that keeps peeking out on either side of Brody Hanna. Looks like Brody's trying to look on the high side here. Thinks twice of it, but Nicholas Moreau kind of trying to figure out which way he's going to go. Looks like Nicholas Moreau trying to look on the inside. Now you see that 02 of Josh Mayu almost looking on the inside. Here goes a 23 for a pass on the inside. So this is the type of racing right here that's potentially going to slow him up and allow those other packs back there coming out of that corner right now, that orange and black number 33 Sherwood Williford, to catch back up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're having a great chance right now as they are single file to these guys not. They're spaced out. They're too wide. They're slowing up each other way more than what they think. It's that 26-17 might have a chance to come back doing so. We saw the 15 kind of hesitate which lane to go with. He didn't know if he wanted to follow the 14 lane Allen or wanted to follow the 23. Looks like he made the great choice there of following the 23, allowed Brody Hanna to get in front, and then the 15 makes a great shot out of the cannon, trying to get a run, but he didn't have any drafting partner, and there comes the freight train as he quickly falls back behind Brody Hanna and maybe even Josh Mayhew, who's crept up to third place.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing, and that's the type of racing this track gives is the 15 of Nicholas Moreau made that choice to go with Brody Hanna and then try to go out there, but the only person that he had for draft help at that point in time was the person that they worked out of the lead was Lane Allen, and he was already 3 car lengths back behind and not there to really give much draft help. So he now falls from battling for the lead against Brody Hanna back to 4th in line right now. Josh Mayhew and that white car there, that white 02, running very well tonight, looking very good. And again, Brian Dublé having an excellent run right now, holding third for the time being, but right now getting pressure from that number 15 and Nicholas Moreau.
That 3-car pack right behind them starting to get pretty racy side by side. It has allowed that 24 of Lou Allen and even the 47 of Hedrick to kind of group up. So they're going to be a potential 5-car pack here. The 24 hit that wall heavy earlier on in the race, able to somehow catch back up to this pack here. And you see that 47 in that pale green machine, sponsored by DraftKings. He's catching this little pack here. So if they can just tell themselves, hey, we need to group up, go single file, let's not race, they could catch this lead pack as the 02 of Josh Mayhew trying to take the lead here over Brody Hanna. Goes high into turn number 1, gets some awesome side draft, but then he hits a wall of air and nobody follows him to push him. So it's going to allow that 23 to zoom right pack, and it's going to allow that 15 as well to make a great run.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a couple things, especially if you're going to get that run, because you're going to get those runs, Jeremy. But you have to have the help behind you. You see the 15 was kind of looking, but you have to have that help, and you have to be comfortable enough to utilize that side draft, because if you don't have that help, that is what is going to keep you up there. It's going to keep your momentum going until somebody says, you know what, this guy's holding his own up here. Let's jump up to that high side and try it out. As you see now the 37 of Dublé trying to jump up in front of the 02 of Mayhew.
Yeah, 37 is actually running pretty good right now, able to get third place from him. And I think if he can get a pretty good run here and get a good partner, I think that 37's an underdog right now. He's showing some really good potential here. And speaking of potential, that second pack, I think, is closed in a little bit. They gained 0.3 of a second that lap, so they are kind of organizing themselves to make a late little push here before these green flag pit stops.
Oh, yeah, that second pack is coming. Definitely.
15 to the wall.
15 into the wall. Nicholas Moreau, that depending on what contact is made and how much damage, that could be detrimental. You see it already dropped him back to the tail end of that lead pack there, so that is just inside the top 5, running in 5th place. Not what the driver of that number 15 Moreau Motorsports car wanted to see or wanted to have happen, unfortunately. Jeremy, we'll just have to see what's going on, but I agree. There's definitely some dark horses right now that could definitely gain a lot of ground right now with the way that they're running, because this track is feeding right into their strengths right now. You had already mentioned one, Brian Dublé, who right now is currently running second. Josh Mayhew having an excellent run in third, looking to the outside on the 37 of Dublé. How about Lane Allen, who has had some strong runs as well, but has had some runs of bad luck? He is up there in position, has led some laps. So, again, you have got some drivers up there right now, Jeremy, that are hungry, and you can't count out that next pack trying to come in, led by Steve Loomis. You know he's hungry. Sherwood Williford, it's been a hot minute since he's been in victory lane as well. Stephen Lou Allen, you know he's hungry after winning his first ever showing here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. You know he's hungry. So, a lot of fast cars, a lot of fast drivers right now that are within striking distance, and all it's going to take is just a little bit of work together to get themselves in position, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was thinking 2 laps to go in turn 3. I was like, this 37 and 02 are definitely going to team up on Brody Hanna. There's no way they're going to fall behind him. And 02 assisted that 37 into passing, and then he dropped down. He didn't want to get freight trained or whatnot, so he backed up, went behind the 23 temporarily. Now he's finding himself in 4th place. 15, Nicholas Moreau coming down pit road with his teammate, Vashon. So this is going to be the start of the green flag pit stops on lap 58.
Yeah, lap 58 coming to 59. Green flag pit stop starting right now. You see the 15 and the 26 down pit road. You were talking about people working together, Jeremy. That would be in the best interest of all three of these drivers, the 37 of Dublé, the 14 of Allen, and the 02 of Mayu, to work together. Strategize a little bit on this, especially with the way that it works out right now. You got Brody Hanna up there. You know he's fast, but he doesn't have any teammates up there to try to help, especially with the track that works the draft. You got Nicholas Moreau that was up there, but prior to green flag pit stop starting, he had no teammates that was in that lead pack either. This would be prime opportunity for those drivers to really stick together and really try to make something happen.
And they got the same setups underneath those cars, right? So they are optimized to work together. 14, Lane Allen making his pit stop, entering from the top half of the track to let the front cars by. A little bit of unorthodox style there, but he's going to bring the 17, 33, 24, 47, and the 7. This might be the pack to be, and some of these guys, Dustin, by your reaction, cut it really close, like that 24. Just made it underneath
so
the
close.
cone. I think he's okay.
I think he was okay from the angle and shot we had going down pit road. He missed that commitment cone, hitting it for that pit lane violation. Not sure about speed coming in, but it looked like he had it woed up. But yeah, it got him all out of shape coming in because he was out of his pit box as well. Finally was able to get it put in there. Right side's just going up, but you see he's going to be left in the dust, Jeremy. That's not what that 24 Stephen Llewellyn needed.
No, I mean, he missed his stall by a mile there. He spent at least 5 seconds trying to get that thing back to his pit crew, so that's definitely going to put him a half a lap down, if not more. 18, Brian Bliss, also down pit road. You see the 23 getting serviced here this time around. And James Wallace there in that 67. Looks like he's being held by his pit crew. I don't know if he came down speeding, but he's already serviced by his team. And he's just sitting there. So we might have a little bit of an issue on that 67.
Yeah, I believe that he ended up coming in. Yep, I believe he came in a little hot, Jeremy, on that one there in that last pack that came in. And iRacing is quick to hit you on that. Every once in a while, drivers get lucky, but today James Wallace was not lucky on that one there, as he is serving his hold penalty right now in pit road.
Yeah, he clocked him in at 71 miles an hour at the line when your pit road speed is 45. That's definitely going to take the iRacing stewards and say, hey, you're being held for speeding. So, and he did spin out on top of that too, trying to lock it down really hard. So just that insult to injury, that 67's got a lot of work to do to make that thing come back up to where it needs to be in position. But right now, 62 laps in, we're over a third of the way through. No cautions, Dustin. We expected maybe at least one at this point. We've seen a lot of people hit the wall, but no one's actually wrecked. Yeah,
and that's an excellent thing, to have happen right now is, the way that these guys are running right now. They are doing a fantastic job as to not having any cautions whatsoever. But my thing is I mean, we're 65 laps into a 163 lap race. We talked about pit road entry on that one. The issue that we have, and we've seen it in the truck series, and I'm surprised that through everything, the only person that we've seen have major issues that led to penalties was the 67 of James Wallace. We've seen the 24 Stephen Llewellyn come in and get real close, but didn't get penalized, missed his box. But again, there was no penalties on that. James Wallace was the only one that had to serve a hold penalty. We've seen a lot of drivers really struggle getting down to pit road speed because of the speeds that you're carrying on here, the pit road entry, and that's a very slow 45 mile an hour.
It is when you have the speeds of 180 miles an hour entering or coming through these corners to blow it down to 45. They extended the pit road entrance a little bit to help these guys, and it seems to be working unless you just try to, overdo the issue there, and it snagged a couple people already tonight. Everything recycled through. The 23 Brody Hanna is at the point. The 15 Nicholas Moreau sits in second place. That number 4, that Richard Petty looking machine, is not in for position right now. He is currently 1 lap down, trying to do it the hard way, get his lap back. And if he can get around these 2 cars and catch a quick caution, he might have a chance. But then the 14 in third place, Mayu in 14th. 67, he had that penalty, not in position, and so is Tony Solari. currently running in 17th place, 18 laps down. So it's really only a 4-car race out of this pack right now.
Yeah, and like you said, a 4-car race out of this pack, but some of these drivers like Chad Lang trying to get that lap back the hard way right now, and as it sits, you know, they are working and they are trying, you know, for what they can, but, you know, you have 2 cars for position right now, Steven Allen and Josh Mayu. Mayu in that white 02, they're right back there. They're going for position, and their targets are going to be those 2 lead cars right now, that 23 and that 15. So they need to try to figure out a way to either get the 4 of Chad Lang to work with them, maybe get Lang to lead that lane, because again, if they push Lang right past the leaders, that's going to put Lang back on the lead lap, but it's also going to give those other 2 cars there another car for position to try to help them in that draft.
Also, I'll make a quick mention to that 26, Matthew Vachon, who pitted with that 15, who's right now in 2nd place in this race. He's back to 5.5 seconds back. His team, for some reason, did not get all the tires changed correctly, had a longer pit stop. I think got held up on the right side trying to change those tires. It lost him 5 seconds on pit road, Dustin. So, you know, changing these tires, at a super speedway, that's one of the weird things to see is, you know, having your team mess up to cost you the time, especially when it's a virtual team. It's not like it's an actual human doing this thing. And iRacing simulated a mistake by the crew, and it's going to cost him 5 seconds.
Yeah, you can't even go and yell at the pit crew on that, because it's not going to do nothing, because they're a simulated, you know, pit crew themselves. But yeah, he's now part of that that second pack right now, being led by the 33 of Sherwood Williford. Williford being pushed by the 47 of Ryan Hedrick, and Dublé back there, who was running up there with Brody and was running up in the top 3, finds himself right now back behind the 47 of Hedrick, sitting in 7th place right now, and then right behind him is where you find Matthew Vachon. So again, you know, some miscues on pit road, you can definitely see has led to some costly spacing and track position losses on the track during these green flag exchanges.
Yeah, it's a whole new beast. The track's a hybrid. Getting down to speed's a little bit trickier here now. And it doesn't look like, at least it's not showing that a lot of people had some practice coming down for green flag pit stops. And that's why you're seeing some miscues, some people going up towards of 30 miles an hour, trying to get into the pit road a little too hot there. 37, Brian Dublé, you just mentioned him. Yeah, he was up there contending for 3rd place, 4th place, and up there with Mayu and everybody else. But now he's found himself 4 seconds back. But a little 4-car pack they got going on with the 26, 37, 47, and 33. They're actually doing pretty decent lap times, Dustin. They gained on the leaders by 6 tenths that last lap by.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is right now, those leaders, I mean, if you're looking right now, we got onboard telemetry for Brody Hanna. He was pushing 180 going into turn 3 there, working their way back around. Now, if we work our way back to Sherwood and that pack right there that has been slowly gaining on, you know, we can kind of see where they're at. You know, they're roughly right around the same bit, but the thing is these drivers here are staying more in line than those lead pack drivers. You see a couple of them are breaking apart right now, and that's exactly who these drivers right now on screen. Look at the speeds, 185, 186 mile an hour. That's 5 to 6 mile an hour faster than Brody Hanna was going into turn 3 the previous lap, leading the race. They were picking up that draft. So these drivers here, I mean, they're making the right moves and the right calls, Jeremy. As long as they keep going, they could chase down that lead pack.
They've gained another 6 tenths in the past 2 laps since you're pulling up the telemetry, and that's an awesome point. You have 5 miles an hour difference on the same part of the track. They were matching their back straight speeds on the front stretch only because you have to turn. If it wasn't for the turn, the cars would even be faster. These guys are on a mission. They will get there. The lead pack is 4 cars. These guys are in a 4-car pack, and more so now with Chad Lang and Tony Solari potentially coming up to them. So this is the only thing going to do but help them. You see the 47 deep onto the bumper, that 33, trying to get him to go. And they gain another 4 tenths that time, Dustin. So they will get there in this pack of 6 or 7 cars, counting the cars that are lapped down. So this is going to be a one big pack race here as they come about halfway.
Yeah, we're on board with the 47 of Ryan Hedrick right now. You can see that lead pack up there This second pack is definitely much closer in that draft, and that's where they're gaining the speed at right now. I mean, these drivers are they're banging it right now going down, and I mean, you can just look at the closing speed going through turns 1 and 2. You can see that pack getting closer right now, and just look at that. Now the 47 is looking like he's going to run. I don't know if that's a good call or not. You know, is there's still a little bit of space right now, and it looks like that lead pack is getting lined up a little bit. But we'll have to see how this works out. But Jeremy, you see when he pulled out, look at that speed drop going down the front stretch. He was down to 171 mile an hour on that inside lane on that speed drop there. So we'll just have to see how this works out. Maybe they did that for overheating purposes, Jeremy, but we'll just have to see how the timing charts are looking.
Yeah, it could be the temperatures. It is an awesome point. You don't really think about that when you hear the name Atlanta. And just to notate, yeah, on the backstretch there, like you said, 4 to 5 mile an hour difference. They were gaining 0.3 a lap. That last lap, they lost 1/10 just because they switched one position. So draft is everything right now. As they cross the line, they lose another 10th to the leader. So they actually want that, at least initially, for the 2 laps that the 33's not been at the point on this pack. Looks like they might want that 33 back up front here.
Yeah, and again, it's with the way that it was going. Going off into turn 3, Hedrick was only up to 181 mile an hour, whereas just 3 laps ago, we'd seen that 33 in the very same position was up to 185 mile an hour, so 4 mile an hour difference. So again, they're definitely going to have to get things in line here and figure out what they want, if they want any chance on at least snagging that draft of that lead pack to pull this entire pack forward.
I would say that I know the 47's a young kid trying to get some jobs done here and get up back to that front, but you can't just do it on your own. You're going to need your teammates. You're going to need your friends around you on the track. I think the 47 though is a really good pusher. He just can't hold turn 4. He shoots way up the track, and I think that's costing them their time right now, as they're still 2 seconds back. Slowly, very slowly by 100th here, ticking away, trying to get back to the front pack. But I think the 47 is just a great pusher. If we allow that 37 to pass, flip-flopping around, I think the 47 can get this pack there. But right now, I don't know that 47 can lead this pack up to the main one.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, the last couple laps, he's had a hard time keeping that car down. And right now, it looks like the 37 is struggling to figure out what line Hedrick is actually going to run right now, which again is also losing that time. So they're definitely going to have to get organized in this backpack here, back to where they were at when the 33 of Sherwood Williford was actually up front leading that pack and the 47 was pushing. They got to get organized like that again to try to close out these last couple seconds, split in between themselves right now in that lead pack.
I was so cheering on this underdog pack here, trying to get up to the front one, and they were doing so well with that 33 leading. And as much as I want to say 37, get to that back bumper, Ryan Hedrick cannot find a line that's suiting best for him. So it's really hard to draft the guy when he's on the bottom and one half of the corner, in the middle to upper half on the other part of the corner.
A little loose coming off a 2 there, too.
Yeah, a little loose, too. So it's going to be nothing but hurting them right there. So they need to re-figure out what to do, because they're so close. Oh, the 47 is so loose again. Oh, it's going to check up the 37 into the wall. This is going to really hurt their chances here.
Oh, that's not what you wanted to see. They have got to get reconfigured here. They've got to get the 33 back out front again, or allow that 67 to get out front, because right now it is really hurting. You see that 47 is so uncomfortable right now, even drifting up, Jeremy. He's wobbling that ass end. And this is exactly what they're doing. They are trying to reorganize this second group here to try to get it back into how it was, because again, they have lost a lot of time just on this interchange.
47 loose again off of 4. That car is basically done as far as grip levels are concerned. We got a new leader in this pack now, the 67. Let's see if maybe they can do it with the 67 of James Wallace leading the way. They are 3.3 seconds back. That all changed when that 33 got pushed back to 4th in line in this 5-car group. And then things went from going really good, getting to get there really quick, to, I don't know, now we're almost 2 seconds back to where we were. We got to figure out some things here, but this time by, they lost another 0.3 to those leaders, Dustin.
Yeah, and I mean, that lap there was still attributed to the exchange. I mean, any time that these drivers on a track that is very draft heavy like this make an exchange like that, it takes a lap and a half for that to get back up again, because all the drivers got to get back in line. The air's got to be broken. You got to let these motors wind back up again. So this right here should be a little bit more of testament on whether or not they are actually going to gain or lose with this current setup that they have.
That time they virtually tied the same speeds as the front pack. Let's not forget about the front pack. And not too much is going on up there. That Brody Hanna is definitely being assisted by that 15 all the way around. There's been no lead changes for the past 20 laps or so, as that driver, that number 23, leads the way.
Yeah, these guys right now, they're in drive mode. They're counting off the laps right now as it goes, and that's exactly what they're doing. But again, that's all going to change as it gets closer and closer. We get to like 25 to go, Jeremy. When you stop seeing lap 88 of 163 up there, and all of a sudden it changes on that tower to 25 laps to go, that's when the gloves are off. Martin Sports gloves and all, it all comes off, and that's when you're going to start seeing these guys really start racing. But I still feel that there's a couple dark horses back there that I think are laying low, they're laying dormant, Jeremy. They're making sure their cars and their chess pieces are going to be in the right place when that ticker turns to 25 to go.
And these guys are winding down to their second green flag pit stop. We're on lap 90, so we're just over halfway from this race. This is our time to go side by side, as we're going to give some visual thank yous to our sponsors. We'll be back with you as soon as these pit stops go underway.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
back to full screen coverage for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach1 Performance Cup Series. And during that break, toward the end of it, Dustin, we have a new leader. That 15, Nicholas Moreau, decided to go around the 23 for the first time in over 30-some laps. Almost at a lap 100. That means pit stops are going to be happening real shortly.
Yeah, pit stops prior for scheduled green flag were happening around lap 50. So again, we are looking at least our second of green flag pit stops. But these drivers, unless they can somehow stretch another 13 laps, which gonna find that hard to believe, would have to at least stop for a splash and top off one more time to at least make it to the end, and that's not counting if there would happen to be a green-white checkered.
Yeah, I don't think the 15 is going to be able to make that. He was one of the first people to pit with his 26 teammate. The 26, though, is not part of this group anymore, so the 15 has to pit with these guys. And if these guys run their tanks all the way dry, that 15 is not going to be able to do it because he was the first car down pit road. So it's going to be kind of curious to see how they try to tackle it. Do they do the short pit and just know they're not going to make it, or do they try to stretch it?
Yeah, and that's what's going to be hard on that one there, especially coming to this one here, is there's a chance and a possibility that 15 could be left out on his own, throughout the whole exchange of green flag pit stops, Jeremy. I mean, it's you were talking, him and the 26 were the first ones to come in, and it was a number of laps after that. I want to say about 3 laps or so before the next big group actually came in.
Yeah, so if that 3-lap difference, that could make or break. I didn't think that was in the cards, but as you call it out here, it's around lap 101 of 163. They got 63 laps left to go, and I know pit stops are within 5 laps if he hits that same window that he and Vachon hit earlier in the race. So the track temp, I can say, has dropped down to 121, so it's 11 degrees cooler than what it was to start. As you see the stats right there, wind still about 3 miles an hour. That's been about the same all race long, but 11 degrees cooler, and minus that 47, I'm not seeing too many cars with as much handling issues as before. And also on top of that, at 23, I've noticed he's been over the back bumper. That 15, he's looking really racy, like that car's got some extra grip.
Yeah, and he has been since the 15 had challenged and taken and passed him for the lead. He has been all over that 15 car. Now, there are 5 cars that you currently see on your screen. That 18 of Brian Bliss is not in it for position right now, but he is in providing draft help. As you see right there, he is providing draft help to the 23 of Brody Hanna to push him right by the 15. But look at the drift up that 18 has going through that corner there right in front of the 14 of Lane Allen. But Lane Allen, and again, that 02 of Josh Mayhew, Jeremy, it looks like those two have been really working together about the last 15 laps or so. Usually wherever one goes, the other one's right there. So you could see a couple cars right now that are really trying to start working together to get by a couple of these other cars, being the 23 of Hanna and the 15 of Moreau.
What a smart move by the 18. Let's see if he can get some grip. He shot that 23 out of a cannon to get that race lead, and he put a big enough space between these guys to where he used the side draft on the 23 because there was so much space in between. The side draft to try to take his position back. He is 1 lap down. That lap he was actually able to lead the pack, so that lap he was scored on the lead lap, and he looks like he's going to clear the 23 here. So he's doing it the hard way, Dustin. This 18, if he can catch a caution right now, he's going to get his lap back doing it the old school way.
Oh, yeah. The hard fought right there. 15 into the wall again, trying to follow the 18 on that high side. And again, that is twice that we have caught on camera that 15 tag on the wall. And again, with these damage models, these cars are like their real-life counterparts now. They cannot take a beating like that. And you definitely don't want to be seeing that at a draft-heavy track. Now, you see these drivers right now on your screen. They are racing. Oh. But we have to go further back on that one before we actually get to Brian Dublé, who was part of that second pack. That is your 5th-place runner right now. And, Jeremy, this whole group that they had together before has just dissipated to non-existence.
Yeah, they have definitely falling apart after that 47 took the lead on that pack. Things just fell apart from there. 47 got loose, couldn't lead the pack. And then there's a couple other cars getting loose, and they're down to 2 cars, 7 seconds back. 20, 30 laps ago, Dustin. They were almost just inside 2 seconds away. So it's a 5-second difference between what they had and what they have now. And that's huge, you know. So they need a caution. They need something to go right for them, and it's not going to happen on the green flag scenario right now. The 23 has passed the 18, so 18's back to 1 lap down currently. 14 Lane Allen looking pretty strong still. They're running in 2nd place. Glad to see him in that Mountain Dew Chevrolet Camaro running strong. And the 15 doesn't look like he suffered much damage, even though, as you said earlier. The thing is funny with these next-gen cars, Dustin, is they put the composite body on these things. Physically, the outside exterior shell can take a huge beating, but then they lack the durability side on the internal components. If you hit the wall, your car still looks good, but your tire falls off, your steering goes out of whack, just everything breaks. So, I mean, at least the cars structurally look good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's if we go based off looks, I mean, they definitely look good, but in a situation like this here, you definitely want to have a car that's actually going to hold up. So we'll have to see how things go. Right now, on board with the 14 of Stephen Allen, you hear us refer to him as Lane Allen as well. He goes by both, but right now, really putting some pressure on the 23 of Brody Hanna. He's been staying with Brody Hanna there, but you see, Brody seems to pull away on corner entry, but lose it on exit, and that's where the 14's really, look at the run the 14 got coming through there. And the 14 is going to be bringing the 02, Josh Mayhew, right along with him. You also see the 15 back there. That's the 18, that tied card. That's Brian Bliss, who has been fighting to try to get his lap back, had it and lost it. But the 15 looks like he's just riding back there. Now, Jeremy, part of this could be strategy, knowing that 15 has got to try to save a little bit of fuel here, as obviously these drivers are going to try to stretch this.
The best way to save fuel is to be behind the other guy, because it breaks the air off the nose. It takes less effort to get to the speed you're looking for. And so he's doing the best thing by being behind everyone now. Noticing he scraped the wall and it was already falling back, he said might as well take full advantage of that. But he actually does not go to the bottom of the track this time, does not follow the draft, so it kind of tells me maybe he's having some handling issues. Because he's keeping his nose in the air, which exactly goes against what I was just trying to comment on. So the 15 looks like he might have a little bit of handling issue after that wall contact.
Very well could be, because it looks like it's more so going through the corners there. It seems like he has a hard time keeping it low with the rest of the drivers. And he's losing some ground going in. You see, he can keep it going in, but it seems like a lot of times on the way through, he had a hard time. Now, 1 and 2 looks like he was able to actually run their line, but 3 and 4, which, Jeremy, we know 3 and 4 has been troublesome to a lot of drivers. That's where he seems like he's been drifting up, but he closed in a lot going into turn 3 on that one there, but seems like he loses a little bit on exit. So yeah, definitely could possibly be some damage issues to that number 15.
Yeah, he had just a great run. Well, we see some people exiting pit road. I think those guys are lapped down to 44. Chris Beck, the number 4 of Chad Lang. They're both 2 laps down. They're exiting pit road, so even though not the lead lap cars, are still under green flag conditions, so it looks like green flag stops should be coming in real shortly.
44 looks like he just lost it coming off of pit road there on the apron.
Oh, no, he did.
Oh.
Yep, and no caution, too. It was all underneath the red line. Sorry to cut you off, but underneath the red line, that means he's not going to affect the race, and iRacing stewards did not throw that caution out, and you're going to see it right here. Just hits that transition.
Ooh.
Yeah, snagged him good. And 4 actually got kind of close to that, too. So
yeah, he did.
But thankfully, no one was hurt. He's able to continue, but that's like a half a track there of lost ground there.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I mean, they were not on the lead lap or anything else, but again, I mean, that's unfortunate because, I mean, that took a while for him to get it turned back around. Luckily, he didn't collect any other driver. Chad Lang was able to get by him. It was down on the apron, so iRacing stewards elected not to throw the caution on that, so racing still staying green. 116 laps right now at a track that has a lot of characteristics of a super speedway, Jeremy. We haven't seen the big one. We haven't seen anything. That right there and the 75's impact into the inside wall that retired him were about the two biggest events that we've seen, but neither brought out a caution. 117 of 163, Jeremy, still caution free.
I think these guys short pitted on us that first green flag stop being lap 55 to lap 60, because right now these guys are going to be pushing lap 120. Not a single one of these guys on the lead lap have made that dive down the pit road to the 23 and the 14, kind of breaking away from the other guys here. Is there, you know, the 02 is fighting the 18, who's one lap down right now, and the 15 just kind of stuck there in the middle without any assistance. Let's allow this to be a little two-car breakaway for the race lead.
Yeah, and this, I'm actually kind of surprised to see this. I mean, that we're actually getting some of these two-car, you know, tandem duos on the breakaway, but on the same sense, this is where the handling, you know, seems like it could be coming into play. It looks like the 23 and the 14 have got things dialed in on their Ford and Chevy respectively. So definitely looks like things are going. It looks like the 02 of Josh Mayu may be falling off just a little bit, though, after trying to battle the 18 of Brian Bliss. Brian Bliss looks like he's catching that 15 now. So Bliss trying to make a charge to try to get back up there to try to earn his lap back the hard way once again.
Quick shout out to moonlightspeed.com. These guys are running open setups, so what better way to be on an oval and try to get some wins through moonlightspeed.com. Follow them on Twitter, join their Discord, and sign up and get some setups. You could be out here running with these guys at FTSR.net with one of their setups, and you could be in the top 5 or get some wins. So that's a great place to find a good setup to get yourself involved in some open setup racing and get some much needed wins. Yeah, we're getting real close to SM2 about the second round of stops. Trying to figure out when they're going to pit. They've got 43 laps to go before this race is over with. Oh, the 23 is going to pit right now. It checks up the 14, who did not expect that 15 is going to hit the grass.
And the
43,
cone.
and they're both going in. And, huge implications here. The 23 might have a penalty. The 15, I'm not too sure.
Oh, that was devastating on that pit entry. Oh, my goodness. There's definitely going to be a pit road commitment cone violation on that 15. I mean, he took that bad boy out like it was nothing. And contact was made as he was trying to bring it back in. Contact was made with the 23 as they were coming back in. That was bad situation. That sent the 23 off track coming in. So there could definitely be some hold penalties going on here, Jeremy.
Well, we're about to find out. The 15 was released from pit road. You see another incident right there. He got to the inside of the cone. He did clip the cone, obviously. It went flying into the grass. But he made it to the inside of it. So it'll be interesting to see what iRacing does with that. So far, the 15 has exited pit road onto the track. At the moment, I don't see that penalty. I thought it was going to be an unsafe as well for hitting the cone, but maybe with the new track configuration, that boundary might be a little not so much harsh on these guys, as the 15 does not pit this time, so I don't think he has a penalty.
Yeah, he's definitely staying out on the track like he doesn't have one. So again, that's very lucky, but either way, still costly for both drivers on that, because they both had to correct and bring it back. You know, contact was made, so that's more front nose contact now on the 15. On that one there, you know, this time here it's the left front rather than the right side where he has been making contact on the wall, but that now puts contact on Brody Hanna as well, slowed them both up in the pit. So we'll have to see how things play out on this one here.
The 15 looks like he's racing at Bristol right now with damage on the left and right hand side of this car. Not what you want to see at a super speedway style track, but he needs to find a drafting partner. This 33 might, or 18 rather, might be his answer. I said the 33. They're like in the same exact colors, so it's hard to differentiate sometimes, other than the 18 and the Lonesome Camry that you see every week. But outside of that, he's going to need some help from that 18 to get back to where he was, because Brody Hanna has a 4-second advantage now over that 15.
Yeah, 4-second advantage over that 15, but he's also got that 0-2. Josh Mayu running second right now. But as it sits, Brian Dublé is in that fourth position, but you don't see the 14 of Lane Allen up there. Steven Allen now showing off the lead lap in this situation. He was right behind Brody Hanna before all of that took place. And Brody Hanna took that cut down pit road, so I don't know if that had some effect on the 14 coming into pit road, but he is well off pace right now and nowhere in contention for the race win as he once was prior to those green flag pit stops.
That's a great call. I went back and looked at it. The 14 hit the white line for pit entry at 62 miles an hour. That's going to be a 17-mile-an-hour difference between that and the pit speed limit, so they did snag him for that 40-second hold in the pit stop. That's why you see that 14 back in 12th place, one lap down.
And that's brutal on that one there again, because such a strong run by that 14. But right now, Brody Hanna just leading the way right now. Almost a 3-second gap between him and the 0-2 of Josh Mayu. But the thing is Mayu is running by himself. And right now, you're watching a 4-car pack, but only one of those is on your lead lap, and that is at 23. That is your race leader. The rest of them are all off the lead lap and are currently literally just pushing the 23. And that is how he is gaining now. I mean, just monumental time gap is between him and the 0-2 of Mayu. Just from that lap alone has already gained a second, Jeremy.
Dustin, who would have known that the lap down cars are going to be such a vital part of your race? Brody Hanna working with 3 to 4 lap cars now right behind him. And then you have the 15 of Nicholas Moreau, who has 3 cars behind him, or 2 cars behind him that are a lap down. He's got one in front of him that's 4th position, but you got 2 cars in this pack and then 4 cars in the other pack for the race lead. They're all helping. They're all trying to build that speed for the guys that they're pushing. So lap down cars right now seem to be the key player in the rest of this race.
And you called it. I mean, who would think that the lap down cars would play such a key role? But just before this pack now on your screen caught Josh Mayu, he was 3.8 seconds back, and just getting that draft help and everybody getting in line right now, and that 15 is behind him for position. They went from 3.8 already down to 3.5 seconds, Jeremy. So you can see how crucial it is to get that draft help. The thing is right now is they got 33 laps to go, 33 laps to try to close that gap. That's a 3.6 second gap as they lost time, as that's this second pack still trying to get organized.
Also a good point. Check out the screen right now. You got 5 cars nose to tail, right? Now, if you switch it over to your race leader, Brody Hanna, that pack's dissipated. It's got 3 cars there. The 24 who's hit the wall hard early on in this race around lap 25. He might not be full speed. And then the number 7 who's had a lot of handling issues, he's behind them. Everybody else to the 17 has fallen off. So there's no longer draft help from those 2 cars that were in the pack. So it's basically a 3-on-5 scenario. But actually, going back up the lap times, Brody Hanna was 0.2 faster than Josh Mayu.
Yeah, but again, it's how organized these lines are. I mean, yeah, this pack here may only have 3 cars in it, but I mean, it depends on how well these guys are running. Something else you have to think is they're also getting draft from those 2 cars up ahead. As they come up, it looks like that is the 57 of Josh Johnson they're catching, and the 47 of Ryan Hedrick. So they're getting draft off those. That's going to pull those cars, as you're going to see them just slingshot by in a hurry as they go by. But if the 47 and 57 can play it right, this is going to add 2 more cars to this already stout pack right now. And that's not helping that second pack at all. Is again, they're still trying to get organized on what the best configuration is. And Jeremy, we've seen how important it is. We've seen that second pack catching up and just swapping out that lead driver from Sherwood to the 47 of Hedrick. And, everything just went discombobulated.
Yeah, you want that 23. His car has been fast all race long. You want him leading this pack. That's your fastest guy to make this thing happen. 17, Steve Loomis was actually making a great run on the top, or the 3 cars in this pack, or 4 now. But the 57 and 47 really blocked him, especially that 57. It really choked up that run from the 17. He's got a little bit of work to do to get back. He was trying to get back up there and help with the draft. He still has it, but it's going to take a little bit more to get there. And that's just all but nothing but going to continue this the speed of the pack that Brody Hanna is in. It's going to only increase it. So 4.1 seconds, Dustin, separates first and second place.
Yeah, as that gap keeps bouncing back and forth. Do want to give a shout out to Stig on YouTube again. Popped into, was happy to see the 57 of Josh Johnson still running. Apparently there has been some PC issues with that 57 crew over the last few weeks with iRacing crashing. He said he is happy to see him connected. Still running a good race. Again, who would expect 136 laps in on this race here, Jeremy, that we would still be green flag, the initial green flag. So with everything going on, green flag pit stops and miscues, that 57 running in the 13th position right now, still doing good. But Jeremy, I would not have called that this race would have gone this long green flag.
No, we've heard several drivers in the garage say there's going to be cautions, and they've wrecked. The 24 has nailed the wall. Chuck Sweeting has nailed the wall. You saw the 44, Chris Beck, getting loose and spinning on exit of pit lane, turn number 2. We've seen the 15 hit the wall a couple times, and no one has brought out the caution. These guys do not want a caution, apparently. As much as they're trying, they just can't seem to find that method to make it happen.
No, and they can't. Right now, you're looking at that second pack. You can see that they have reorganized a little bit. Now being led by that your pole sitter for the event, the 15 of Nicholas Moreau. Now leading that Dublé, running behind him. That's again 4 position. Dublé in the 3rd position, trying to work his way back up. Then you have the lapped car, the 18 of Brian Bliss. And then right behind him is the next car, 4 position. That's the 02 of Josh Mayu. But Jeremy, there's still a lot of space in between these cars where that front pack, they are running so tight that they are breaking the air and just chewing through it. This pack here has got to... They've got to get comfortable. You're working lap 138 of 163 right now. You're starting to come down to make or break time. You're going to have to push the issue in order to try to make that gap up, because that's you're talking over 4.5 seconds right now that they have to make up. And we just hit that lap exchange, and it now says 25 to go, Jeremy. And if you remember, I said that was the go time.
It is definitely go time, and I like this changeup. I like seeing the 15 lead this pack. The only thing I don't like is how unorganized they are behind you. You see the 24 and the 7 kind of break away from each other. That's going to put a temporary pause in this great run this lead pack has. But going back to that second pack, though, I like the move. It's your pole sitter. He is the fastest car, or one of the fastest, each and every week. 37's put on an incredible amount of speed here. And the 02 Mayu's got some good speed as well in the Super Speedways. It's just they have to stay bumper to bumper like this. This is their only chance. There's 24 laps to go, 23 at the line, which is right now. They have to stay organized. And right now you see the 02 slide up the track, can't get down to the bottom, can't get to that bumper, the 37. That's going to do nothing but prohibit. But Brody Hanna drops back to the 7, the 47, the 24, all past your race leader that lap there. So a little bit of a shakeup here, and this is really going to hurt this 23's chances right now.
Yeah, so that whole lead pack right now just starting to break apart. And like you said, that is going to cripple the 23 as he just lost a lot of that speed that he was pushing once before. Looking at the speed that he has right now, not even at 180 at the line, just barely pushing 181 going into turn 1. Let's go take a look and see what we have. I mean, almost identical speeds going in. The issue with the second pack, Jeremy, that we were talking about is I agree. I'm with you. I love the way that they have reorganized this. You got your pole sitter up front. You got your lead lap fast cars right now up front. You got Dublé there. You got the 02 of Josh Mayu. They're the ones leading this pack. You got the 18 of Bliss, and you have the 67 of Wallace back there assisting and giving draft push as well. It's your best bet to do it, but they have got to get close. They have got to push each other in order to break this down. We're at 21 to go, Jeremy, and that number's only going to get lower.
And these the fluctuation in the gap between the first and second pack here is pretty impressive. We saw Brody Hand up to a 5.4 second lead, and then in 2 laps it went down to 4.7, and in that lap they were a 5.1 again. So even though these cars are broken up in front, that second pack has, like you said, they have to stay together. They have to keep doing this. This time of bye, they go from 5.1, and it holds about 5.1 there from my screen. So they're dead even with the split up here on this front pack. So that really tells me the 23 is just really that fast, or the 37 needs to shuffle back and let the 02 push that 15, because either way, you know that 15's bad fast, and if he can't gain on a guy that's not so much in a tight pack, you know they got to change up something here as they got under 20 to go.
Yeah, because the more that they wait, the less time that they're going to have. But right now, the saving grace of that 23 is that pack of cars. Now, don't get us wrong, folks out there watching. Just because these cars are a lap down does not mean they're slow. I mean, there's some fast cars right now in front of that 23 and behind. Sherwood Williford was leading that pack that was catching the lead pack earlier before the shuffle up. Wayne Grassi has been fast. Ryan Hedrick has been fast. The 24, Stephen Loon Allen has been fast. Just through this long green flag run since the drop of the green flag that nobody was expecting. Some miscues on pits. We've had some pit penalties as well, has put some of these drivers in these positions. So that's the saving grace right now for the 23, is none of these drivers that he is racing with are for position. So that's why you see him on the back like that. He's just letting them just drag him around the track because he doesn't have to worry about position. His next closest person is just over 5 seconds behind him for position, and that's that 15 of Josh Mayu. Or Nicholas Moreau.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 5-second lead, and it's 17 to go. So in theory, he's got a pretty comfortable lead. But these guys in front of him are kind of moving around left and right, side by side. And with some handling issues you see late in the run sometimes, you don't know. You see the 24 check up here. It's going to push the 33 wide. It's going to cause the 23 to catch them really quick. Probably have to do a little bit of lifting here as he kind of sticks behind the 24. So this kind of situation right there kind of affects that speed, and he knows. I'm sure he's watching his F3 relative screen. I'm sure he's watching those times, but as long as he sees that number 5 and the 5-second column behind, I'm sure he's driving a pretty comfortable race. But he's got to do a lot of heads up here, as there's a lot of shifting in his pack. Outside of that, though, that second pack though still, and that's big. That's podium. That's second and third place. That's a lot of points there. So let's see if they can kind of figure it out. And 37 actually still running second place in this pack. I think the 02 needs to get behind the 15 here.
Yeah, I would second that. But even with that, I've seen the 02 also struggle to keep it down. It seems like that the 37 and the 02 are having a hard time running the line that 15 of Moreau is running, keeping it painted down on that line. But that was an excellent push down that backstretch by that 37, and that's exactly what that group needs. But they need to carry that momentum through the corners and down the front stretch through the short chutes. As you see that 37 get very loose and wobbly coming off of the turn 4 right there. And now you see that they're starting to battle for position, and this is only going to slow it down. This is not what they want. That push that 37 gave down the backstretch on the last lap, that's what they needed to continue in order to gain time. And Jeremy, you can see it's already affecting them. Almost a 5.5 second split between this pack and your race leader, Brody Hanna.
15 pulls the 02 down the backstretch into second place in this pack here, third overall in position. I know there's not enough time with only 13 laps remaining, but just kind of it's going to answer my curiosity of was this the way to do it to catch these guys? Right now they're 5.5 after that shuffle around. So let's see if they can gain anything. Right now, so far the 02's giving them a good shove down the backstretch, and it's a half car length separation on that 37 and 02. But right now, there's only 2 cars for this Brody Hanna. It's Brody Hanna and the 33 of Sherwood Williford. Nobody else. The other 3 guys have dropped back quite a bit. I did not see exactly why, but 2-car breakaway for this Brody Hanna led as far as the standings go, and 5.4 separate him and Nicholas Moreau. So does not matter. It looks like Brody's just all around a much better car.
Yeah, it seems like that as long as he's got somebody out there to help him break that wind apart for him, it definitely seems like he has got the car to beat. Even with the mishap, and the near mishap that happened on pit road with the 15 coming in and the contact that was made that put both of them in the grass. he was able to rebound on that to try to push it to the end with that, as it sits right now. 11 laps to go. The difference between your race leader right now, that 23 on your screen, and now the 15 on your screen is 5.4 seconds still separating, Jeremy. It didn't seem like that swap out behind was enough to really make a difference. It seemed like it was, but the issue is trying to stay close in the corner. They can get that good speed and the good push going down that backstretch, but they lose it with all that extra speed in the corner, and you're at least the last couple laps, you will see both of them run different lines with the way that the car is handling. This one here, you can see that 0-2 drifting up a little bit more, almost an entire lane higher than the 15, and that's exactly what's killing that run, Jeremy.
It really is, and it definitely answered my curiosity of which is going to be better. It just does not look like anyone's faster right now than that 23. 2 cars versus 3 or 4 at some points, even 5. And that 23 car still able to gain over second, third, fourth place and beyond. So that just goes to speak of that quality that 23 has. I know he kind of based around this setup around the other 2 tracks, the other 2 super speedways, minus some handling. He had to go to heavy work with his crew and his team there at Fury Motorsports to figure out the suspension side of things. And I think, in the closing laps of practice, I really believe they found what they needed. And, coming back to Atlanta next time around, next time they do, I would highly imagine they're going to bring the same setup, because right now it is on a rail, Dustin.
Yeah, definitely would say come back. Now, if it continues to go exactly how it is, Jeremy, there's no way for this second pack to be able to chase down that 23. The only thing that can throw a monkey wrench in this entire plan is that pesky yellow flag, which is still not out of the question with the way some of the drivers are trying to jostle for what little bit of position is left before the end of this race. It's still a possibility, Jeremy.
Yeah, the 37 Brian Dubois, the 02 Josh Mayu, these guys have not touched podium yet this season. They probably want to come in here and talk to the nerds in the booth, and right now they are battling for third place, so things could get a little hairy. They could push the issue a little bit more, trying to maximize their points, trying to get to the podium, and in super speedway racing. So there could take just one little incident, and who knows. But let's try not to get the broadcaster's curse going on here. See the 02 pushing the 15 deep into turn 3, trying to get any speed out of it, but they're retaining 5.5. Oh, the 24 almost collected the 47. Looks like you caught that too. That was so close to the back bumper, that 47.
Yeah, and this, that's going on as these guys are catching up to him right now. You can see the speed difference. You can hear the 02 of Mayu having to lift that throttle, knowing what was going on. So now these guys are starting to try to work their way through lap traffic with 5 laps to go. So, again, this is where it gets hairy. This is where it gets dicey. Big slip up by the 47 on that one there. Again, big slip up, but is able to keep a hold of it. But that could have been bad, Jeremy. Good save by the 47 there, Mr. Ryan Hedrick.
There was 4 wrecks that happened right there, and nobody decided to wreck. Looked like everyone who tried to got loose and tried to save it, they almost collected the back bumper of the next guy that was right below him or right above him. Somehow they did not wreck, and if Brody Hanna was watching that, I'm sure his heart would have stopped, or at least held his breath, because that was so close to erasing everything he's worked for so far.
Yeah, now what that just did, Jeremy, was that put a lot of space. Right now, you got Brody Hanna still out in the lead, 5.6 seconds ahead. Still working with the 33 of Sherwood Williford. And now Nicholas Moreau and Josh Mayu have now broken apart, and they are completely by themselves now, separated by about a second. And that is the remaining part of your podium right now, because after that slip up by the 47, that put not only some cars, but some space in between the 02 of Mayu and the 37 of Dublé.
That's a solid point right now. So if it goes green the next lap and a half, you will see Mayu come on top as far as being in the podium position. Brody Hanna has 1 lap and a half left before this thing is done. As soon as they cross that white line, or the checkered line here, get the white flag, which is going to be presented by Mach1 Performance Right now, he's breathing that huge sigh of relief right now as the white flag is out. The 23 is secure no matter what flag does come out. Riding behind that 33, just pulling him along. That 33 is an excellent leader, and even in a 2-car pack, it's able to gain on cars that are 4 and 5 cars deep. Entering turn number 3 for the last time, Brody Hanna has to. I mentioned to him in the pre-race, we'll be talking to you in the post-race, and here he is off of turn number 4, gonna take home the checkered flags at Atlanta.
Brody Hanna takes home the checkered flags. Josh Mayu will hold on for that 3rd position as it sits right now. Nicholas Moreau, your pole sitter, will end the night in that 2nd position. Just not enough to get that line going in that 2nd pack to try to chase down that man on your screen right now, the 23, Mr. Brody Hanna.
Great points overall for Brody Hanna and Nicholas Moreau. Brody came in minus 19. Nicholas Moreau came in minus 13. Him and Richie Coy are going to be neck and neck here as far as that goes. I think actually he's going to have him by a few points. We'll have to see about the official results presented by Sim Racing Points. And then, yeah, Brody Hanna capitalizing on everything he could. He's going to be right next to his teammate. You see the only 3 right now. Going to get some burnouts underway because he came into this thing questioning life. Did not know how his car was going to be. Thought it was going to be a wicked car to drive. And needless to say, he brought it home in dominant fashion with a 5.4 second victory over Nicholas Moreau as we go over the unofficial results tonight. Brody Hanna P1. Nicholas Moreau comes home P2. Josh Mayu is going to be in 3rd place. Brian Dublé in 4th. Strong run for that 37. 5th place is Matthew Vachon. 6th place, Sherwood Williford. And then 7th on back, Dustin is all 1 lap down. Stephen Lou Allen in 7th. Wayne Grossi 8th. Brian Bliss in 9th. And to round out tonight's top 10 at 47, Ryan Hendrick.
Yeah, so excellent top 10, and I'd have to add on that Brody Hanna is probably still questioning life after going 163 laps at this track here, caution-free. Yes. And in 11th place after that costly pit road speeding violation, after running up in the top 3 most of the night, Stephen Allen in that 14. Steve Loomis ends the night in 12th place. 13th is James Wallace. 14th, Josh Johnson, after having computer troubles. Again, shout out from Josh Johnson saying the CPU is starting to go out on him, so he's trying to limp it around just a little bit longer before he tries to upgrade that, so running as low graphics as possible. Still able to finish the race, still got himself a top 15. Chad Lang finishes in that final 15th spot. Chris Beck in 16th after that costly pit road exit, hitting that transition, not able to rebound. Tony Solari in 17th, and rounding out your field after that hard inside wall impact and the first car out of the race is Chuck Sweeting in that 75.
Josh Johnson, that is really tough to hear. Sorry to hear. Hopefully we can get some computer parts in that thing, get it restored. And you see the 23. Speaking of limping around, that 23 is blowing his engine, doing too much burnouts. And I did not notice, Dustin. They actually allow them behind the wall. You don't see that often, so that's kind of cool. Thank you, iRacing, for that little tidbit of information there. But this is going to kick it over to the Martin Race post-race show, where we talk to the drivers that finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, see what they have to say about tonight's event. Got a new person coming in here, the 02 of Josh Mayu.
Well, it's we do not have Josh Mayu. He does not. Yeah, he does not have TeamSpeak, unfortunately. So we are not going to get the chance to talk to Josh Mayu, which is unfortunate because that would have been the first podium that he has. But I will speak, if it's all right, Josh. He is shouting out on Facebook. I will be the voice of Mr. Mayu, who had an excellent run in his first podium. He does want to thank Team Watson Racing Setups for the awesome setup. He wants to thank Brody for putting this great league on. And my old lady, verbatim, old lady, for letting me do this. You got to have a good woman behind every good man. Absolutely. And then he wants to thank the nerds for putting on this sweet broadcast each and every week. You know what? We thank you, buddy. Look forward to seeing you racing again. One of these times, man, you're going to have to get TeamSpeak. Got to make this a regular thing. But congratulations to the 02 of Josh Mayu on a fantastic race that he had tonight, finishing in 3rd spot.
Yeah, Josh, congratulations. Awesome job out there tonight. Sorry we couldn't talk to you in person, but at least we were able to chat with you through the chat system on YouTube, at least on my end here. So great to at least hear that. And we're still waiting along second place. Nicholas Monroe usually doesn't pop in right away, so we're going to kick it straight to your race winner. We usually don't do that, but given circumstances, this 23 Brody Hanna is going to be coming into the booth here for the nerds for this race winning broadcast commentary. 23 Brody Hanna, got a copy.
I got you guys.
Man, I talked to you pre-race, and well, first off, congratulations on the victory. That was a dominant 5.4 second victory. Only you and the 33 really were the two cars that at the end they were drafting, and you were still pulling away from cars that were 4 or 5 deep in the line. You and that 33 had some magic speed right there. But I talked to you in the pre-race. You said there was going to be cautions. You said the car was really loose, and I don't know if you found something midway through, but man, that car was on a rail at the back half of the race. Just go over what kind of work you did to get ready for Atlanta.
Yeah, I may have missed that prediction a little bit. I honestly thought with the way this car drives on the long run, it was kind of sketchy. And we kind of worked on ours and got ours handling pretty good, but the thing was just sketchy, and everybody was complaining about getting loose on the long run. So I really thought, I was like, man, when we get 20, 30 laps on this car, there's going to be people, and you saw it. I mean, there were some people. They had a handful, but they were able to maintain the control. And I think it speaks to the quality of driver here at FTSR. Those drivers able to hang on to a car to go caution free at a new super speedway track. I think just speaks volumes first off to the quality of drivers that race here. So I got to thank those guys for keeping it clean and green. But yeah, as far as what we had, I didn't really know. I wasn't able to get a long run in the car to kind of see what it did really, but I knew handling was going to be important on the long run. And man, this thing was just hooked up on the long run. I was just so surprised. It would go through a little bit of a loose phase and it would come back, and man, it was on a rail. Now it was a little tight, but a little burp of the throttle, and man, the thing would just sail.
I tell you what, I mean, we're like you. We were questioning life up here because as we were looking, it went 100 laps out of 163, still caution free. It was 130, and then we're down to 5 laps to go, and we're like, who would have thought 163 laps here at a track that's been reconfigured with super speedway characteristics, and so many near misses. And like you said, it speaks volumes to the drivers that are on here. But take us to the last pit stop. Entering that pit stop that come in, Nicholas Monroe came in super hot, just made the commitment cone, but clipped you, sent both of you guys in the grass. What was going through your mind when all of that was going on?
Well, luckily I was watching my mirror. I saw him coming in behind me, and he was coming in kind of quick. And I actually was trying to be a little cautious getting in. I saw him coming. And as soon as he made contact, I jerked a little to the left and hit the brakes, trying to keep it from spinning. And luckily, I kind of saw it coming, but didn't hurt the car. Didn't seem to bother the car at all. But yeah, that was that was a little close call. That did kind of scare me a little bit.
I'm sure it did. I was really hoping you guys didn't get any type of pit lane violation for hitting the grass, and thankfully both of you did not, and able to continue and still finish first and second place. But congratulations on the entire event. I wanted to notate too that looseness. I don't know if you noticed the weather out there, but starting the race, even though the air temp was 78 degrees, the track temperature was 132. And you guys ended the race at 112. So 20-degree drop between the start and end of the race. That's probably why the car felt a little extra grippier.
Yeah, it felt a little bit better on the longer run. I actually was telling Tony that. I said, man, this last run, it feels even better. And so that's probably why. But yeah, it was a hot one. We knew when we got in the server, Wayne said something about the server being so hot. And it was a hot one. But man, the thing was just, I'm so happy that the thing was hooked up like it was. Because I told you guys, I didn't know really what we had. But man, and I got to tell you, this was based on our Daytona set. Our Daytona set was pretty good. And I believe I took that one home too. So maybe that set was pretty good.
I would keep that one in the books for sure.
Yeah, but anyway,
not Jeremy's notebook. Your notebook.
No, not mine. Don't. Please don't. You'll lose that in a hurry.
But I want to give a shout out too to Sherwood. Working with him early in the race, it was fun to come through the pack with him there. He was about the only car that looked like mine that could kind of hug that bottom and make time. When I hooked up with him, we just took off. Tony was with us too. Unfortunately, Tony had a little issue on the front stretch, but man, we were booking on the inside. That was a lot of fun. And then at the end, I wish it was for position, but unfortunately, he kind of got caught out there, and was able to work with him to the line. So I got to give a shout out to him. It was fun working with. It always is fun working with him on the super speedways.
I have to agree, man. And yeah, I'm sure they appreciate those words. And you're reeling in Richie Coy. He was not here, so you and Nicholas are within range. I think Nicholas and you might even pass him depending on how the points lay out. But congratulations on the victory tonight. Go ahead and celebrate with the team, man. On well job done.
Appreciate it. And again, I just wanted a solid points night. I guess I maximized the points. That's pretty good. But got to give a shout out to you guys for broadcasting. Got to shout out to Tony, and unfortunately Richie not here. He's on vacation. Hope he's having fun, but we are here. And got to again thank all the drivers in the league, keeping this clean and green. Again, that's we love doing that. That's uh, well, I love it because I'm able to maximize pit strategy, pit stops and stuff. But I think everybody loves a good clean race, so appreciate them doing that. And we'll go get them next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. That was your first place winner, Mr. Brody Hanna. So again, excellent running on that one there. I do believe we have our second place finisher. He did mention that he lost the TeamSpeak address, but with Brody talking, I do believe he was able to find that TeamSpeak address. That's the driver of that number 15, and your... Hold on, I got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 poles this season. Am I counting that right, Mr. Nicholas Moreau?
Yes, sorry guys, how are you doing?
Yeah, that you are correct, Dustin. 6 for 6 on the pole. You came to a super speedway. That's the questionable ones when you try to hold that kind of streak, and you did it. Your car is bad fast every week that we watch you. But I want to turn to that attention for the pole. 6 in a row. How are you so fast on these qualifying sessions, even when it comes down to a super speedway?
For that one, I did not expect that at all. I just tried one time in the official server, and it was like in 9 or 10th place. No, I don't know how I do that, but pretty happy for sure for that one to start on the pole again. It's a kind of super speedway. You have to set the quality set with the very nice aerial package. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised to get that one today.
Yeah, tell us, how was that track out there? It seemed like handling was a struggle, definitely. Outside of qualifying, obviously, Mr. 6-time, and that possibly could change next week to Mr. 7-time at the rate you're going. But seeing that, especially off turns 3 or off turn 4 there, going through turns 3 and 4, it seemed like a lot of cars were having issues. Like the car would want to pull itself to that wall. Seeing you get into the wall a couple times coming through 4. Kind of walk us through what was going on with this track and the new configuration with this next gen car.
Well, yeah. As I said, it was my very first experience on that track. I didn't practice a race at all for the last week. I was not aware all. I know. I knew that the car was good for a short run, but I was no idea how can be at the long run. But the car was pretty neutral all run long. So I was happy about that. And yeah, we can recognize that the old track, the turn 3, you have to lift a bit because you're gonna get tight. So yeah, I touched the wall a few times, but just because I was on hard traffic, and I just missed my lift point. So, but it was a very small contact, I'd say. But yeah, we can. The turn 1 was better than the T3 for sure. You have to set your car a bit freer than tight, like it was before at that track, and that's just what he did.
Yeah, you definitely found the wall a couple times. Thankfully, it wasn't enough to kind of hurt your car, and you're able to keep it going. And Yeah, just awesome job overall. You should be taking the points lead after the results are finalized tonight. So congratulations on taking the points lead. But the floor is yours, man. You did finish second place. So anyone out there that's watching that you'd love to give a shout out to?
Yeah, and just before, when I noticed that Richie missed the race, I was like, okay, my strategy is now different. I just want to finish the race in the top 10. So I'm going to take the second for sure. And congrats, Brody, because his car was on the rail tonight. Because when I was drafting him, I was pushing him actually, and I was not able to keep him behind me. So his car was very good tonight. But yeah, I you guys catch my pit entry, right?
yeah,
Did
we did. Yeah, that was solid on the
Oh
center of the
man.
screen coming in, and I tell you what, you cut it real close, making that commitment cone, and both you and Brody did an excellent job rebounding and coming back from that one there. But you definitely come in hot on that one there, but you weren't the only one tonight that was having issues on pit entry.
Yeah, it was definitely my worst in pit entry of the season. Uh, I, because I was watching at my fuel and I took a decision to put less fuel in my car and drop the rear end a little bit. When entering turn three was not a good, it was not a big deal, but I just met my breaking point for the pit entry, and yeah, so I'm very sorry for Brady, but the contact was small when I hit him. I was like no, but yeah, we saved both the cars, so happy about that. Yeah, I would like to say thanks to my sponsor like Transit, La Voiture Agricole, Easy Web Pro, and Lassie Sport. Thanks for you guys for your jobs, and congrats, Brady, again.
Appreciate those words, Nick. Congratulations once again on the second place finish tonight at the newly reconfigured Atlanta.
Yes, sir, see you later.
And that was Mr. Nicholas Moreau, who was 6 for 6, as you counted, Dustin, on now two hands to take home the pole every single week that we've raced so far. Outside of last week, we weren't here, so he had a break, and he did not affect him one bit. So, Dustin, how did you expect the race to go, and then what was your thoughts afterwards?
It's definitely safe to say that I did not expect it to go 163 laps caution free. I'd definitely say that is a safe understatement. But I mean, that just goes to show, I mean, the way that these guys drive, I mean, it's, they are some skilled drivers out there that, I mean, they kept these cars under them, even when the cars didn't want to stay under them. A lot of close calls, but I mean, everybody raced the way they did. I mean, it's, 163 laps. The actual NASCAR wish that they could have had a race go like that.
No
163 laps. So, excellent job by everybody. I mean, it was a great drive by Brody Hanna. Put on a hell of a show. Had a strong car. Like I said, great run by Nicholas Moreau, getting the second place podium. Josh Mayu getting his first podium. Fortunately, not able to talk with them, but again, it's always good to see those drivers come up there and perform. I'm ready for next week, Jeremy. I mean, this has been, they put on a hell of a show tonight.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And quick mention too with the caution counts, how there's so few this season. A little stab to the actual NASCAR world. Justin Marks was on the Dale Jr. download, and he said his percentage of cautions are up 72% this year versus last year with this new car. And at Full Throttle Sim Racing, they're not experiencing that. I think the percentage actually might be lower than what it was last season. So huge shout out to FTSR for making that kind of stat happen with a new car, new track. Doesn't matter. They went caution free, which is pretty impressive. So, yeah, the rest of the schedule, Dustin, I'm excited. It's a little bit of everything mixed involved. You have New Hampshire coming up, which is a mile track. And then you have a big Pocono Raceway. And then Indianapolis, which we all know what that track is, a very interesting shaped track, nowhere else like it. And then you start getting different. You get Michigan, which is a cookie cutter, 2-mile cookie cutter. Then you have a short track and then a road course with Watkins Glen. And then Super Speedway Daytona to end it out of the season for 2022B. So I love this. I love this format and how everything's looking. It's a little bit of everything to really show the test to the drivers.
It's a beautiful schedule. It is. I mean, going from New Hampshire next week. So we went from Atlanta this week, New Hampshire next week, then to the Tricky Triangle, which is such a fun track. I know, Jeremy, for the longest time, you heard me say I couldn't stand that track. It is a fun track. Once you learn how to run it, it is a fun track. But it's a very technical track, a very driver track. But like you said, I mean, it's those varying lengths. You're going to the 2 mile, down to the short track, to the road course, and to end everything off at that plate race. So if drivers don't have that much of a cushion coming out of Watkins Glen as far as points going into Daytona, they're definitely going to have to play some strategy when it comes to that one there, because we all know how Daytona or Talladega can end up.
100%, yeah. And going in the points leader, I'm sure they're going to be stressed beyond belief just to try to finish the race and get that championship. There's no guarantees at Daytona. This is going to bring the broadcast to a close, though. Do a quick shout out for all of our sponsors once again. FTSR.net. You guys seen them? They want caution free at a new track with a new car. If that doesn't speak volumes to you, I don't know what will. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right? Nobody does that unless you're over here at FTSR.net. So get signed up. 2 series that are for free, 2 that we broadcast are paid to cover the entry fee for us and everything. But outside of that, it is a wonderful place to be. So sign up FTSR.net. Mach1 Performance, thank you for the sponsorship this season for the Cup Series for 2022B. If you have a race car that needs some fabrication work and they're in your area, head over to the Mach1 Performance shop. Find them on Facebook on that link on your screen. Facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, the Wednesday Series Truck Series sponsor, and they also back up the nerds as well. Head over to simracingpoints.com. Get your league registered. They take care of all your stats in a beautiful format. Like if you go to FTSR.net and pull up any stat page, it's covered by them, and it looks great. Martin Sports, thank you for the partnership that we have with you. MartinSports906.com. We wear their apparel from the gloves. We have shirts, and we have more coming. I know the nerd gloves are going to be on your screen really shortly. You see the one he's wearing now, branded with the MS logo, with his very full of himself pose there. But yeah, if you want one of those, MartinSports906.com. Super Nerd at checkout for 25% off. iRacing iFlag, flag partner for the Nerditudes. Little unique device sits on your desk, and it produces all the iRacing notifications thrown at you on a really cool little setup on your desk. Really bright, can't miss it. It's going to keep your focus on the racing surface. Head over to iRacing iFlag, iRacingIFlag.com. Super Nerd this time for 15% off.
Yeah, we also want to take a shout out to the Butt Kicker. Again, that is our audio enhancement partner for Nerditudes. That says that D-Box gives you that haptic transducer to give you all the feel that you are missing from being in an actual car. So again, feel all the rumbles, all the humps, all the bumps, and all the crashes and beating and banging that you are missing. Visit thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code NERDTV to save you a little bit of cash at checkout. Also want to thank Moonlight Speed Concepts, the official page setup partner for Nerditudes. Again, they will cover everything from the Advanced Legends all the way up to the cars you just seen run today, the next gens, and they do it in style as well. Give you those much needed W's. They are constantly upgrading the setups as well to try to give every driver that much needed boost when it comes to race day. So again, make sure that the only thing that you are chasing is Moonlight. Visit moonlightspeed.com. On the dirt side, we want to thank House of Speed. Again, everything that Moonlight does on the asphalt side, House of Speed is going to deliver on the dirt side. Anything on a dirt oval track for you rallycross racers out there and you Pro 2 and Pro 4s. Sorry, no luck on that one. This is only your oval racing only, but these are built by champion winning drivers. These are drivers that have won in the official NASCAR World of Outlaws series that they do host as well. And they build some rockets again. So again, check them out, houseofspeed.us. And lastly, we want to thank our official energy partner for the nerds here at Nerditudes, Nerd Focus, again known as the Think Drink. Give you all of the energy that you need without all of the crash from the competing energy drinks. Again, 2 very delicious flavors. The green variant on your screen right now in that can, that is your sugar flavor. Go for the blue one if you want that sugar-free, but no matter what direction you take with Nerd Focus, you are not going to go wrong. Delicious flavors, full of energy, no crash. What more could you want? Visit nerdfocus.com. Promo code SUPERNERD to save you 10%.
That's going to bring us to a close for tonight, but we're going to catch you guys here in 2 nights for Wednesday for the Truck Series as they continue on for that points battle. Let's see who's going to be able to tackle New Hampshire. Until then, you guys stay safe out there and always get your nerd on.
It's not goodbye. It's just till next time. So stay classy out there, stay nerdy.